Hi all, it's JK here with another video. Sorry it's been a while, I've been very busy with work and what have you. I've done about 84 hours overtime this month, so I'm quite flush with cash at the minute. So straight down to the casino. Anyway, as you can see, I'm in the middle of detailing my wheels and the corners. Just quickly showing you what I've done. Oops, I've jet washed all of this so it's all clean now. I've done the rear. And yeah, I've even cleaned the calipers off a bit, so been a busy boy. This front wheel has been a pain to do, I don't mind telling you. I've spent over 4 hours on it, but as you can see now it's showroom condition. It's absolutely brand new, so when it comes to selling my car I expect it to be worth at least 40k. And I've done the rear as well. The rear only took 2 hours to do, and I'll show you why in a second, because I ain't done the other two yet, so you can see a before and after. But I've also cleaned them slightly different as well. And as you can see there, I've cleaned off all the crap. Let me just quickly show you the other side so you can see what I'm talking about. There you go. That's the other side I haven't done yet. And yeah, I'm going to give you a bit of a catch up as well, where I'm at with things and what I'm up to. So first of all, a catch up, and then I'll give you some tips and tricks as well. Catch up being my car's due its first oil service next week. It's booked in for Friday and today is Saturday, and yeah, it's been a year, believe it or not. No, it's booked in for Friday, and so this time next week it's been a year to the day that I've collected this car, and yeah, it's been a fantastic year. Now the first service for me is just an oil change. I don't know if that's typical or if it's because of my low mileage, but they've quoted me 143 quid. They tried to charge me 160 quid, but I negotiated it down. I then got on the phone to other dealers, other VW dealers, and was getting prices of between 180 and 170 pounds. And they weren't negotiating. They said, take it or leave it, mate. And I said, I'll take it. And then hung up because this one guy was particularly not very friendly. So yeah, let me know what you think to that. I didn't bother with the service pack because we spent about 2.5 hours negotiating for this car, and then, but after all the coffee and biscuits, I just wanted to go home. He then come running over to me going, oh, you don't want the service pack, do you, Jay? And I said, no, I don't want you to give you any more of my money. And he goes, don't worry, mate, don't worry, and then left it at that. Speaking to a friend of mine that owns a Land Rover Evoque, they were saying that they think the service pack isn't good value for money. Theirs was 500 quid. And they thought it was an annual service, so, and 2 services, but in fact it's a 2-year service and only 1 service, so they're basically paying 500 quid for a service. And he was saying to me he thinks it would be cheaper on the door. So let me know what you think. Is the VW service pack worth going for? I'd expect it to be so, but I'm being told not. I'm being told I did the right thing. But certainly 143 quid for an oil change, that's daylight robbery, you know, typical dealership. I could do an oil change myself on this car. It's very easy to do it yourself as well, which is the criminal thing about it. You try and do an oil change on that thing over there, it's the biggest ball ache in the world. Whereas doing it on this car, the oil filter is easy to get to, the sump nut is easy to get to. It's just designed, you'd have thought, for home service. But no, apparently it voids the warranty, so you got to do it with your main dealer. So, but that's the price we pay for owning a nice shiny new car, I suppose. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. So the first tip I'm going to give you regarding these wheels, these black caps, how the hell do you get them off? Read a lot of stories where people have had breakdowns with punctures, and when it comes to taking the wheel off, they realised the first thing was they didn't know how to take that off, so they had to get AA cover out and bail them out. And yeah, I was in the same boat basically. I looked on forums, couldn't find a good answer. They were basically saying buy a tool, and I thought, well, whatever. After scouring the manual a few times, I think it was on page 332, I found out it was this little tool here. Now initially I thought that was part of the jacking mechanism, but all you do is you go to your black cap, put it in there, and you pull it out, and it's simple as that. And that's all there is to it. Bang. And that's the first tip. Now the second tip I've got for you is, when you go to a tyre fitter, these tend to go missing. People are saying they've been to tyre fitters, they put a new tyre on, the wheels have ended up getting chipped, so they've had to argue, and sometimes they've been told to get lost. But the main thing is they've lost that, and they've lost the wheel nut. Now that's nothing new. Tyre fitters can lose stuff. So my advice to you is, obviously with this, take the caps off first yourself and then take it into the tyre fitter, and then keep this on your person. And then the wheel locking nut, probably the worst thing you could lose, because it wouldn't be cheap to get that all fixed. Give it in and then say, look, here it is, make sure you give it me back at the end of the job, watch him do the job, and then that's what they'll do, they'll give it back to you. Regarding the wheels chipped, my tip for you there is walk him around the wheels and film it as well. I know this sounds like a silly thing to do, but it's better than fighting. And then say, right, all these wheels, mate, they're perfect, aren't they? Do you agree with me? And if he says yes, and you've got it on film, then if anything does go wrong, they're liable. Same with when collecting your car. If you're buying a new car or if you're buying a used one from a dealer or whatever, make sure all this kit is here, because people are saying they've bought a Golf and the locking wheel nut is missing. Well, certainly that's missing. So yeah, double check that. And check the wheels as well, because I expect a few BMW owners, and they've been taken delivery of a car from Sittner's or Stratstone, and when they've got it home, they've seen that the alloy's got a chip on it. And when they've gone back to the dealer's basically said 100 quid and we'll fix it, or sod off, basically. So yeah, what you do is walk around with the dealer, give it a real good, you know, handover feel and everything. I know it looks like it's overkill, but at the end of the day, if you go home with a new car and there's a fault on it, and then you find out too late, it could be expensive, you know. I remember when I bought my first brand new car, it was a 52 plate Honda Civic. I think I was 21 at the time, and we picked it up from Lincoln Honda, and across the road is a Lidl. So I drove my parents to Lidl, they went to the shop, I walked around the car, and at the back there was a nasty gash there on the bumper, and it was really nasty. There was no tea cutting that out and no touching it up. So I was upset, because obviously I was a young lad. My dad came out, saw it, and he goes, right, he took it straight back to Honda and they fixed it. And that's what you do. As soon as you find something after spotting it, you go to them and get it sorted. Whereas if I'd have gone back a week later or a couple of weeks later, nine times out of 10 they'll tell you it's not their problem. And you know, that probably costs what, 150 quid to get it sprayed, because you're looking at a expensive metallic paint. So yeah, they're my tips for you there. As you can see, the car's jacked up because I've got to put that wheel back on. The jack points, I'll just quickly show you where those. Underneath the car here, you'll see an arrow. Not sure if you'll see it now because it's getting dark. Oh, there you go, that arrow there. That is your jack point, and there it is. It's this piece of metal sticking out, you know, just like any other car, sticking out of the chassis. And as you can see at the front here, the car's already up, so it'll be easier to see it. So yeah, there you go, that's all there is to it. So why did the rear wheel only take me a couple of hours to do, and why is the front wheel taking me a couple of days to do? Basically, right, if we go back to the before and after, you'll see that this wheel and the arches are still dirty. Now obviously I've not done this side yet, and as you can see there, dirt and grime, but no evidence really of any brake pad dust. So therefore it looks like you can clean the rear wheels and get away with not using alloy wheel cleaner, although I did. Whereas if we look at the front wheel, brake pad dust, and it's in pretty deep as well, and it's mixed with grime, it's mixed with salt, all sorts of things. So the front wheels really do get abuse from the braking system of the car. And obviously the arches are dirty because I've not done it yet. As we'll go back over here, obviously you can see the arches are now clean. I've cleaned the calipers, I've cleaned the shocks and springs. I haven't cleaned them properly. I've literally just jack washed them off and gave them a bit of a dab with some soapy water and a sponge. And yeah, it's looking a lot better, looking almost showroom. And you compare the wheel now with the other side wheel, you can see it's very clean. Apart from some insects there having sex, why not? You only live once. But so what have I done differently? Why has it taken me 4 or 5 hours to do this wheel and only 2 hours to do the other one? Bear in mind I've still got to use my tyre gel as well. I've got some tyre gel and I've got an application pad as well. This is all going on my blog, so you can see exactly what products I've got, because it would take too long to go over it all. But basically for the rear wheels, all I did was I jet washed them off first of all. Then I gave them the alloy wheel treatment with a brush. Again, the brush I use is going to be on the blog. I then dried it with a towel, regular towel. Then what did I do after that? There was tar on the inner rim, quite a lot of tar. So I used tar remover. I then rinsed the wheel off again. I then used super resin polish from Auto Glim to give it an extra layer of protection and some shine. I then finished off with the wheel sealant. So that was the rear wheel, and that took me about 2 hours to do. What I still need to do on the rear wheel is I need to clean the tyre and then apply the tyre dressing, tyre gel. I've cleaned this tyre, but as you can see there I've missed a bit. So what I'm going to do is, I used a sponge, but what I need to do is get a brush. So I'm going to redo it, and basically that wheel there, I'll take it off again and I'll brush it off as well. Or I might be able to do it with the wheel on actually, and then just move the car while it's running. Now what I've done differently with the rear wheel, why it took so long, is, as you saw when you looked at the wheel on my car over there earlier, here in the groove is a lot of, or was a lot of, as you can see there, it's quite clean now. There's the odd spot that won't come out, so I'm guessing that's, for example, there's a couple of spots. I reckon they're alloy, because it's smooth, I reckon they're alloy wheel defects rather than contaminants. But yeah, in that groove there, you get a hell of a lot of little dark spots, which appear to be brake dust and pad dust. And with a clay bar, it takes absolutely ages to get out, because you rub and you rub and you rub and you rub, and it destroys the clay. Then you're going to get more and repeat the process, and eventually it all comes out, which it has done there. So that's where all the time's gone. It's the little trench here, in between the spokes, going behind. And even if you go behind the wheel, which is the whole point of this, you turn the wheel around and go around it, it's still very, very hard to do. So also the tar stains and the stains at the back of this wheel were a hell of a lot more aggressive than the rear wheel. So I went over this with the tar remover and a microfiber cloth. Then I went over it all with a clay bar. So now it's, as you can see, it's immaculate, it's showroom clean again. Also did the back of the spokes as well, using the clay bar and the tar remover as well with a microfiber cloth. And then after that, what I've done is, right, I've obviously done the super resin polish all over the place, but then I've applied one layer of wheel sealant on the wheel, but I put 2 layers on the trench here, because I found that the clay bar was able to remove all contaminants off the spokes, off the front here. It was only really stubborn in the spokes here, in this trench. So on the trench there, I've now applied 2 layers of sealant and then the super resin polish. So that's where the most protection is needed. I haven't put 2 layers on the whole wheel like they recommend. So we'll see how I get on with that. And yeah, as I say, I've got to clean the wheel off and then put the tyre dressing on. So yeah, that's basically all there is to it. Big process, but the wheels are quite light as well. They feel lighter than my old Type R wheels, so obviously it's a lighter wheel. And just to show you once more, as you can see, that one and there versus the driver's side. It's entirely up to you whether you do this or not. You know, to get a detailer to do it, you're looking at least 50 quid a corner. And if you're busy, why not? Why not pay it? The way I'd do it is, if I was really busy, I'd pay the detailers to do the front wheels, and then I'd do the rear wheels myself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learnt a few things. As usual, let's discuss in the comments, and let me know about the oil service, your first service, what it cost you and whatnot. Cheers.